Good morning, hi all. It's really a pleasure to host today Teresa Tarragó. Is one of the entrepreneurs in our Collider program. And Teresa is a good example of a researcher that after doing his research in molecular biologies and cell biology, and after setting a good startup around drug discovery in neurodisorders, he decided it was the right moment to lead a deep tech project, to take advantage of technology to improve people's life. And this is what we're going to spend a little bit today conversating with her, understanding why she joined a program like Collider, where we connect research entrepreneurs and people like Teresa to take advantage of our research possibilities to improve people's life. And let's go ahead with using technology to make things happen. Teresa, it's really a pleasure to have this conversation with you today. Okay, so
thank you, Oscar. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today.
Fantastic. So, what is Exheus? What's Exheus, and what's the kind of services you offer to companies and for people? No?
Yeah, well, Exheus is the world's most advanced health report, and what we are offering is a genetic test. But the difference with the normal genetic test is that our test is based on RNA. So with our test, what we can see is the activation of the gene. So we can see what is really happening in your body at a given moment. And we are not giving probabilities of what may happen or what may not happen. So what we are looking is for real information, real data. So we use all this information to give recommendations to our customers just to improve their diet, the healthy lifestyle, the sports training. So at the end of the day, what we want to do is to help people to improve their health, their life, and just to have a more healthy and a happy life.
Okay, wow, it's really interesting. It's a different approach to typical genomics, no? And
yes.
Not DNA. You were talking about the RNA, no? So, and where the technology come from?
Yes, well, the technology comes from two labs. Well, one university, in fact, the University Politècnica of Catalonia, and then another is the Institute for Research of São Paulo. And also it came from the research of a runner, Emma Roca. So it's these three people that started to work on gene expression, studying what was taking place when you were running, for instance, a marathon and a race. And from the research, so it started more than 10 years ago, and they wanted to see what was taking place when people was running and what was taking place on the gene expression. So they realized that many changes were happening in our body when you were running just a race. And so the impact of this research was so big that they wrote 2 papers, then they filed a patent, and they decided that, wow, this technology is so new, so exciting, you can do so many things, that then they decided to apply this technology to other fields and to think about starting a company.
Quite interesting. In fact, Exheus from the beginning was a real ecosystem, no? With the sportists, researchers, and technicians.
Yes.
Oh, wow, it's a good starting point. It's not normal, I believe, no, in normal research projects. Okay.
Yes.
And you, how did you arrive to develop this service that you are providing now in Exheus? And who was the first client? Who was the first believer in this technology?
Yeah, that's a good thing. So, well, when we were thinking in the process of starting the company, thinking about the minimum viable product, we were thinking that, okay, sports was one place to be, but also nutrition was another place that was a very interesting market. So in the sports point of view, there are many different players that have believed in the project. And I cannot give a lot of names, but for instance, one...
We don't know what to make friends today if we forget anyone.
But for confidentiality reasons, but one, for instance, is one club that it's for soccer players at first division, that it's they already wanted to try the solution. And also we are selling the solution direct to consumers. Okay. So there are people that currently they can buy our test directly from our website, and they have started to use the solution, and they are currently using.
And are people ready to buy this kind of analysis or not?
Yes, because the kind of analysis that we have started to sell are more focused on the nutrition and on sports. And usually our consumers, our first consumers are people that they care for the nutrition, they care for the lifestyle. Maybe some of them, they have started a diet and they want to see if everything is okay or not, or they want to lose weight. So when they see that with our test, we can give them information, and
Okay.
they can see if they are improving. So imagine that you start a diet and then you have the test, then you change some foods, you start to practice sport, you start to train, and then after 2 or 3 months, we do another test, and we can see the changes and we can see the improvement. And this is very important because the customer is more motivated to follow the diet or to follow the training.
Okay.
So it helps to increase the adherence to the treatment.
Okay, but for most people that are attending now, okay, I guess that genomics, most people understand that it will be the future of medicine, personalized medicine. But what's the main differentiation between DNA or RNA that is the case?
Yes. So with the DNA is you have information about your genome. That is, when you are born, you have your genes that you inherit the genes 50% from your father, 50% from your mother, and these genes are the same during your whole life.
Okay.
So that means that your genes don't change during your life. So you have the same genes when you are a baby than when you are an adult. But what happens is that there are many factors in the environment, maybe toxins, maybe food that you take, if you train, if you are stressed. So there are many things that affect the expression of your genes. This is the epigenetics, that there are some labels that the environment adds to your genes, and this changes how these genes are expressed or are activated. So the traditional genetic tests, what are measuring or what they are looking is at the DNA, they are looking at the genome, and they just make a picture of what you have when you are a little child. But they cannot give you information about how these genes are changed, how the expression of the genes change. So on the contrary, with our RNA test, what we can see is the impact that the environment and that the epigenetics has. So we can see how the activation of the genes change as far as you change your lifestyle or you change many things from the...
Okay, so I believe that this will change our lives in terms of sports, no? Avoiding injuries. Or for example, I don't know,
Yes,
during this
absolutely.
week we have the Euro Cup soccer championship, no?
Yes.
I guess perhaps you talk to Luis Enrique, our national trainer, to say, no, it's better not to play Busquets today because if not, we'll be injured, no? Those kind of things.
I think that's going to be the next step for the company. I think also to the professional players and to give this high level of information that they currently need.
Okay.
But for instance, this is what you said is a very clear application of this kind of technology. So for instance, from a given player, you can make the test and say, okay, maybe it's better that you don't play, or maybe it's better that you do this kind of recovery training, or some kind of, you change this kind of foods, or so it's very, it can be have a very strong impact on the performance of the professional players, I think, yeah.
So talk us about yourself. Okay, so you have like experience on entrepreneur side. Like I was describing when I introduced yourself. You launched one company around the drug discovery in disorders, neuro disorders, and you are now the CEO of Exheus, this company that will take advantage of possibilities to improve our lives. No, and what was your motivation to join one project that has been working for the last 10 years around research, these sports? Why was the right moment for you, and why you wanted to join this team?
Okay, yeah. Well, as you said, I'm a scientist by training, so I studied biochemistry and then I did a PhD. So my training, I have a kind of mindset, a scientific mindset. So, and I work as a researcher for many years before starting my previous company. So, even though I studied an MBA and I have a kind of business training as well, but I wanted to work on a business or a company that had a very strong scientific background. So I was not seeing myself working in a company, I don't know, doing any other kinds of technologies or other kinds of other business that were not related a little bit or had a strong scientific background.
Okay.
Because I think that I can, since I can understand science, I also can communicate with the scientific team, but I like that, but I also like to bring the technologies to the market. So I think I like science, but I like very much the applied science, and I like this project because it had a very strong scientific background, but it also had many challenges to bring this technology to the market. And I thought that, okay, if we are able to bring this technology to the market, it can have a very strong impact on many people. And this was a very big motivation for me.
Sure, you're right. In fact, if you want things happen, you need different languages around a table, no? And I think this is one example, what's Exheus. In the case of yourself, no, you speak all the languages. You speak research, you speak corporates, entrepreneurs, and it's one of the reasons why I think you are doing very good. But how they received you? How's the team in Exheus? How is based? What the kind of skills are there? And how they received you and Paul is the second entrepreneur, I guess.
Yes.
But what's the first point of contact?
Yeah.
Because they had been working for the last 10 years together, no?
Yes. Well, the first point of contact was at the Collider, so when we started the incubation and the process.
Like a first date, no? I
It was
guess.
a kind of first date, so here is the team, here is going to be your possible CEO candidate. It was like a kind of first date. But I think that I think that I was very well received. I think they saw that they could, that I was understanding what they were explaining, and I think that it was a very good chemistry from all of us, and I also like very much the way they work, I don't know, and I think that I was very well received. I think I don't know.
And regarding your experience, what do you think it's a must to enhance the application in the market of the research? Because we have an excellent research. An example is Exheus. What do these kind of projects should have to create these conditions in the market? What do you think?
Yeah, well,
It's about team. It's about
yeah.
conversation with corporates.
I think yes, it's a big challenge, when you know very well, to bring one technology that from university, from research to the market. It's a really huge challenge. So it's very, very tough, very difficult. But to me, two things are very important. One is the technology. So the technology, you should have something there, or either a IP or trade secret, but okay, the technology should be something that you say, wow, this is cool, this is new. And also the second thing I think is the team. I think the team, it's very important.
Sure.
Because same project but with another team can be something completely different. And if the team, if there is not a good understanding with the CSO, with the scientific team, with the management team, and it's going to be really difficult to take an action, I think these to me are the most important things. Also, then we have the market fit, we have, obviously, you have to see the market, you have to choose where is the best market for your technology, and if there is no market, then it's no way. But I will not say that it's the first one.
No, I think
it's important as well.
I agree with you. I think the first is the technology, and the team. I don't know if it's the second or at the same time, because there are no people. It's about people that are working together, no? And at least the great opportunity we see are beyond deep tech. Instead of using a specific technology that's in the market, what if we could join the market and the research adapting the huge potentiality of technology
Yes.
to address a real need. No? But I have doubts. You're alumni from Collider. It's really a pleasure to host you today. Okay, and Collider is one program that helps to create these conversations. Okay, involving corporates, involving researchers and entrepreneurs like you, and creating the conditions to help you to work together, to understand very well how to think and working small. No, how to this technology could fit a real need from today. This is what it's called Venture Builder, you and me know, but for those people that are not knowing us, we create these conversations working together, corporates, and in few weeks, in 12 weeks, you are working and creating impact in addressing
Yes.
real needs. What's your experience? What is your opinion of Venture Builder accelerators? What do you get? What do you think? They're important to complete this step, this gap that is the market and research today?
I think so. I think that this part. So today there is a huge gap between research and the university and the fact the research that a company or the research that a company can buy. So it happens a lot. For instance, what I was doing before that I was on drug discovery, you can have a candidate in the laboratory, but this is not the final drug that you will find in the pharmacy. From that step to the market, there could be more than 15 years. So at the end, in the research institutes, you have something that it's interesting, but the pharma companies don't want to buy that because it's too early stage. So then there is a huge gap. It's not the same in deep tech. Sometimes this gap is not as big, and you don't need to raise so much money. But at the end, there is also a gap. And unless you do something, this technology is going to end in a paper, or it's going to end, I would say, where the old patents end up. And you need to do something. And I think Venture Builders is a good step just to take these technologies from the university to say, hey, you have something here. Do you have the possibility to create a company or to transfer this technology to another, a corporation? And I think it's the way, the first step.
Sure.
So it's not going to be enough for sure, but it's the way to ignite and to start something.
It's a question now that you will shine, I'm sure. Okay. There's a bunch of a lot of startups in genomics. Okay. Why are you different?
We are the first in?
Why Exheus is different?
Different in
this
genetic,
genomics,
in the genomics. Yeah. It is because we are looking at the RNA. So we are the first one, or the only one right now, that we are looking at the RNA. So we are looking at the activation and the expression of the genes.
Okay.
And the other companies are looking at the genome, at the DNA, and are looking at the probabilities. So they are not giving real information of what is taking place in the body. And we are seeing what is going on. So if you run a marathon, we can take a picture and we see all the changes. If you go on a diet, we can see the improvement. If you have inflammation, we can see that. So we can see many things that take place in the body when your genes are activated.
And in addition to that, I believe that you are trying to democratize this RNA, no? Offering to people that can ask for this analysis at home, no?
Yes, yes, we would like very much that many people can use this technology and take advantage of that.
It's better a doctor to interpret to read carefully your results or not?
Right now, the report that we currently have, it's very easy to follow.
Okay.
It's easy to follow. We use a color code. We use a really personalized recommendations, and it's more focused on the nutrition, wellness, and sports. It's easy. We don't need a doctor, but the next step in the future, well, we also going more to the diagnostic, and then we will need a doctor. But this is going to be in the future, not right now.
Or recommendation, no? Why
yes.
not? Okay, wow, fantastic. Yes. Barcelona. The next question about the Barcelona is our ecosystem. Okay, Barcelona really is developing a good hub around digital health. I think it's the evolution of biotech. And the last report from BioCat, our friends from BioCat, showed that, no? That if we have a good and mature ecosystem where different actors are working together, hospitals with patients, with big pharmas, and digital health is the next hub, this next wave. In fact, I always saying, no, there are good projects in Boston, but in Barcelona too. Okay, so why? Why Barcelona, and what do you think Barcelona still needs to help these kind of companies, not to create, to avoid that if you want to grow, you're going to the States. Okay, what's the pending subject? What's the pending subject in our ecosystem? What do you think?
Yeah.
And a person that you have a lot of experience on that.
Yeah. So it's really interesting that Barcelona is becoming a hub on digital health and that. And well, there could be many reasons, but I think that what we need right now is to be able to attract more funding from outside Spain. I mean, from Europe or from United States. I think this is a big challenge, that to be able to convince VCs, venture funds from there, very, I think, few that are coming from United States to invest in Spain or to invest in Barcelona. Some from Europe, but not many. And the day that we will be able to attract investors, VCs, from all over the world to invest here, I think that will be a really big success. Because right now what we have to do is to go to Boston or to go to Silicon Valley, and then we can close a round of $100 million. But to do that in Spain, it's even more difficult. But maybe with local VCs, you can close a good round, but it's not common that someone from the United States will come here and will lead an investment here.
Sure.
This is very unusual. I think in digital health, I think I'm not aware of any case. So there are maybe some neuroelectrics, maybe, but they are based in Boston as well.
Sure. Well, in fact, it's
so
one of the startups. It's our friend, is Anna Maiga, is really a rock star at Escape. And she has a large investment in the States.
Yes.
But was a startup created here?
Yes, I
around
know.
Starlab
Yes,
ecosystem. It's Julia Ruffini, no? It's really fantastic what they're doing there.
Well, it's wonderful.
So, what do you have in your agenda for the next months? Okay, investment, corporates. Pardon, I beg your pardon. I'm going to go back to the last question, saying that I agree with you. I think we are very optimistic. Okay, I think if you compare the last 3 years or 4 years ago to now, we have one of the best ecosystems in Europe. In fact, in Spain, we are more than 1,000 and nearly 500 startups. We'll have 1.3 billion in startups invested. And in the region, we are the third in Europe, after London and Paris. And in terms of scale-ups, we are nearly an 18%, comparing to the States of America, it's the only region. But I agree with you. In terms of size of the rounds, it's true that we are doing our best, but we have a pending subject yet. I believe that next generation funds will help on that. Okay,
yes,
the first
sure.
step.
Yes.
And this is the main differentiation between big ecosystems such as Singapore, such States, Israel. I think the pending subject. And regarding the second report from our BioCat that says that in the case of digital health, it's growing and growing the investments. Yes. But I guess, thanks to 4 years from now, mobile world, this window to the global ecosystem, will have more successful histories to track for investors. I guess. I think next year or 2 years we'll repeat this interview.
Yes,
okay?
I think. I'm also optimistic, so I think that yes.
So my last question for you, okay? What is in your agenda today, the next months? You are looking for investors, we're looking for corporates. In what areas are you working now?
Yes. Well, we have many things on the table right now, but one of the most important things is a new investment round. So we are working on a pre-Series A round but for the next year, but for the first quarter of the 2022.
It's open for the people that are attending now or not?
Yes, for sure. Yes,
okay.
It's open. So if they want information, please reach out. So, but then so we are starting now to prepare to prepare everything, the materials, to try to starting to talk with people that may be interested in joining. And well, this is going to be a big work during the next months.
And apart than investors, corporates, if I'm not wrong, you are working with big labs.
Yes.
I'm not allowed to say names. If you want, do your best, okay? But you are showing that this is a reality. This is something that you are helping them to assess them and to take care more of their players, no? If I'm not wrong.
Yes. We are also in conversations with some corporates that they want to know more, and we have signed confidentiality agreements. And also during the next months, we will be talking with them.
Okay.
And we will see how the conversations evolve. But yes, it's true that the technology is raising a lot of interest from corporates as well.
Okay, Teresa, anything else you want to say to the people who are attending now here on the streaming?
Well, I just want to thank you everyone for being here today. And okay, it's a pleasure. If they want to know more information about Exheus, they can go to our website.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks a lot, Teresa, for joining us today.
Thanks for you, Oscar.
Collider is an example of what happens when you mix in the same table corporates, research, and entrepreneurs. And Exheus is an example of the excellence of our research to improve people's life. Today we're talking about genomics. Genomics applied to different angles. Case of RNN, how to take care of sportists, nutritionists. At the end, the future of medicine, you are aware that we'll shift from treatment of the disease to treatment of the patient to improve our people's life. This is what is in our research ecosystem. Digital health, clean tech, agro, and we have a huge possibility after sitting on the same table together, researchers that have been spending a lot of years doing research with corporates that have a real market, entrepreneurs. In few weeks, they are creating real exciting and fantastic tales similar to Exheus. Thanks a lot, Teresa. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks to you.
Be
Thanks
careful.
To you and the Collider.
Open round, no investment. If you want to make money, make money with using technology to improve your life. This is your project. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.